The cost of living has gone crazy high, right? And the worst bit of it is that as the prices of everything in life are going up, whatever I'm earning or whatever we are all earning is probably not growing in the same proportion. And this has been affecting everyone. Inflation is affecting everyone, the recession is affecting everyone. And I've found myself in a position where I have to be very creative with cost cutting and how I'm spending my money. So I thought for today's episode, I would let you in and share what some of my cost cutting strategies are. And I hope that as I share this, you will get some tips and hacks on how you can also do the same. So welcome to another episode of Finance Friday. My name is Coach Susan. I'm very happy to have you join me here today. So I want to start by first of all putting out a disclaimer that these are my own personal strategies, how I've been cutting costs. They are not in any way or means supposed to imply that you should cut these specific things out of your own budget. Remember, I've said here time and time again, there is no such thing as a blanket rule as to how you should budget, or even a one shoe fits all kind of budgeting strategy. So my hope is that as I'm sharing what I've been doing to cut costs, you can pick up some tips, some hacks that you can apply in your own budgeting, or even get inspired to do your own audit so that you can figure out how you can stay afloat in these really tough financial times. Okay, so now that that is out of the way, let me take you through what some of the things I've been cutting or reducing from my budget just to ensure that I stay afloat. Okay, now there's a very simple strategy to go about this. You need to figure out, as you're starting to identify what goes and what stays, it's a very simple strategy. You want to decide what you keep, what you will reduce, and what you will cut. Now, for me, I'd already figured out what I'm going to keep in my budget, the things I consider necessities. So here are some of the things that I am currently either cutting or reducing so that I can bring down the cost of living, at least for my own self in my budget. So the first thing I've done, I know most people are doing this, is co-sharing my Netflix and Showmax subscription. So Netflix, if I'm paying in full, it's around $1,400. If I'm paying Showmax in full, that is around $760. But now I only pay half of that. So for Netflix, I pay around 750 shillings, and then for Showmax I pay 325 bob. So you see that combined saves me roughly around 900 shillings every month. So that's one of the things that I've decided. So I've not completely eliminated TV subscriptions, those two. All the others I've eliminated. I don't have like DSTV etc, but I have those two. However, I'm only paying half of it because I'm co-sharing the cost with a friend. So that saves me roughly around 900 to 1,000 every month. The second thing that I have done that has made a significant difference in my budget is this. It's my hair. Okay, so normally I will go to the salon and get my hair washed, treated, and then braided. And where I used to go, the prices were a tad bit high. So I would spend around 5,000 for everything, at least on a monthly basis. Currently, what I did, I got these locks. They're temporary locks. And they just need to get retightened at least once every maybe 6 to 8 weeks, so like once every 2 months, and the total cost for that comes to around 1,200. So that has significantly brought down my hair budget. So what I will usually do is I'll wash my hair from home, treat it from home, and then I go get the locks retightened at least every 2 months, and that has saved me roughly around 3,000 from my budget budget every month, 3,000 shillings every month. The third thing I have done that has significantly brought costs down has been to do meal prepping. I started doing meal prepping sometime last year because I was very busy with work. I was taking a certification, so I had some schoolwork, and cooking started becoming a bit difficult. And now what I would do was, because I'm so busy with work and school, and we need to eat, I'd either end up eating out a lot, ordering in food, or just wasting a lot of money trying to get some snacks and stuff to be in the house to be eaten. So now what I did, I started meal prepping, and I cook the food all the way to the end. So I'm not just pre-boiling, I'm cooking. So I learned, I went on to YouTube. I also had someone come and help me out. So at least now we know how to prepare meals in full, and then how to actually store them. A hack that I learned was food actually goes bad mostly when you put it in the fridge. So now I started learning how to store in the freezer. Some things will go into Ziplocs, like chapatis and rice, etc. And then my stews that tend to want to spill, those ones go in dishes, and then I label. And I will usually have food in my fridge at least for up to a week and a half, up to 2 weeks. So now that brought down my shopping to twice a month instead of randomly just walking into the supermarket. And it has also helped me with just having healthy food in the house, that in itself. So I tracked on the month that I was not doing meal prepping, and on the month that I did meal prepping, which meant I cooked twice in that month and I shopped twice. So the rest is just probably fruits and things like milk that are perishable. That significantly brought down my food budget by 6,000 Kenyan shillings. So that really has made a significant difference. The other thing I've done to reduce wastage or cost, or rather just cost cut, has been to eat out less. And that has actually been possible because I've actually been having food in the fridge, right? So what I've been doing, yeah, let me give you guys a trick. I of course I work from home, and sometimes I tend to really feel claustrophobic and I want to leave the house. So what I've been doing is that so every time I go out, most times the temptation is to have a fully fledged meal. So I saw this hack online and I tried it, and it has been working very well for me. Whenever I'm going out to the mall, maybe we are going to meet some people or shop or whatever, I've been actually eating, leaving home having eaten actual food. Okay, so when I go out, I'm already almost full. So what I will do is I'll probably have a coffee and cake, a drink or a dessert, and that has really shrunk my entertainment budget. So I'm still going out, meeting my friends because that is important, hanging out with family. But because I leave the house having eaten, because there's food in the fridge, remember, I'm able to, instead of spending money on a fully fledged meal, I'm now just having a tea, a drink, maybe even a pastry or a cake. And for the evening, I'm just chilling and coming back home having spent probably less than 1,000, as opposed to when I would go out and eat actual food, have a drink, and probably spend even up to 2 Gs or 2,500 Kenya shillings. So that has literally brought my entertainment budget down by another maybe 6,000. I used to spend a lot before I started tracking, and now I started tracking and I realized, okay, this is one of the areas that I don't consider a necessity, but I'm spending crazy amounts of money here. So instead of just saying, oh, I'm not gonna go out, remember we said that when you're budgeting or when you're trying to just see what can be done, you also have to make it realistic. So I didn't say I wasn't gonna go out. I just figured if I eat from home, then when I go out, the cost significantly reduces because I'm not having fully fledged meals. So that has saved me another 6,000 from my monthly entertainment budget. The other thing that I have done, you guys, look at my nails. So normally I love to do mani-pedis. I think they are great, and I think it's a good self-care thing. I'm also a lot in the social media space, on here, on Instagram, going out to train. And for the longest time, I would feel like, you know what, I have to look presentable. And then guys, confessions. I moved from going to my locals, where I used to get my nails done. There's something that happened like with the gel application there that made my nails have, I don't know, there's something wrong. And so once I took it out, I panicked and I decided that I was going to start going to somewhere more better, high end, just to prevent my nails from getting, you know, the infection, or there's just something about like my nails started turning black. So that's the history that led me to spending around 2,000 on my nails every month, and 2,000, around 2,000, or maybe actually 2,500 on my nails, and another 2,500 on my pedicure. So that would come to around 5,000. You know, now that I'm actually talking about that, I know for some people that's not expensive, but for me, that was trying, okay? So one of the things that I've done, instead of completely doing away with doing my nails, I've stopped doing my hands. They needed a break actually from all the buffing and the stick-ons and everything. So I'm currently keeping them short and sweet, short and clean. And then I've just now left my pedicure, and I've also just gone back somewhere else where my pedicure would be a bit cheaper, and that is saving me roughly around 1,500 every month, just from giving my hands a break and stopping the manicures for a while and just sticking to the pedicures. Now, the other thing I've done is doing more WhatsApp calls. So what I would do normally, I would buy the all-in-one bundle, I think the one for 2,000, but then even after that, I would still find that sometime at some point in the month, maybe after half the month is gone, maybe 3/4 of the month is gone, I find myself having to actually top up my airtime. And most times it's because I'm on the phone with my mom mostly, and my family and friends. I'm on phone a lot, even with my clients, right? So one of the things I've done now, I've started doing WhatsApp calls more, because I would realize that my minutes are the ones that are ending and not necessarily bundled. So I still have bundles. So what I usually do, unless it's a very official call, like a client call or something, most of my social calls with my close family, with my close friends, I'm now starting to do more WhatsApp calls, because that only just spends bundles, and that is assuming I'm out of the house. But if I'm in the house, then I'm just using Wi-Fi for phone calls. And guys, that has actually had me calm down. Like now I'm actually I have two phones. I have my work phone and my personal phone. So on my personal phone, I use 1,000 for the all-in-one Safaricom bundle, and then for the work phone, I also have all-in-one 1,000. So maximum, I'm spending 2,000 shillings on airtime for both phones, like my work phone and my personal phone. And that has significantly brought down my budget, like my airtime budget, by around 1,500, because I'd end up like adding 500, maybe another 1,000. And it comes to around an additional 1,500 to 2,000 Kenyan shillings just for the phone bill. So that has significantly come down now that I'm doing WhatsApp calls. Guys, nowadays the quality is actually really, really good for WhatsApp calls, as long as you have bundles. And it's how I also communicate with my clients in diaspora. So I mean, why not use it locally as well? That has been great, guys. Okay, the other thing that I have also done to significantly cut costs, I'm currently on a no spend when it comes to my wardrobe. So what does that mean? That means my dresses, that means any handbags or shoes, anything regarding wardrobe. So this is another thing I've really had to check myself. Again, because of the nature of my job, sometimes because I'm in the social media space a lot, I tend to have pressure, right? And I'm thinking, you know what, I love looking good and I love looking the part, especially if I'm going out to train, mostly on corporate level or group levels. When I'm training at home, most times I'm in my yoga pants and no one knows, because up here I look very neat. But however, when I'm going out, I will tend to want to really, really look good. And I kept justifying buying more clothes and jewelry and accessories, just because I'm like, no, but in my job, I need to look good. So currently I'm on a no spend. I'm not buying any additional. And ladies, this is something that I think if we could hack would be great. When I started actually doing this, I've had to go back to my wardrobe and declutter. There's some clothes I've actually had to give away. And once I did that, like I gave it away to a children's home, and then I was able to look at my wardrobe very well. That was around last year, sometime last year. I decluttered my wardrobe. I looked at my wardrobe and I was able to see the staples I do not have. Now, babes, listen. I mean, even guys, some of us have clothes in very perfectly good condition that we've bought and we've never actually worn for over like 4 to 6 months. But the most interesting bit is that we are still trying to keep up, and every time you're in town or toy or probably in malls, you just feel like you need to add an additional shirt, an additional, every new event you go to, baby shower, bridal shower, corporate event, you want to get new clothes for that. And if you're not very careful, that would be probably every other month you're buying new clothes, and yet you have some in your closet that you're not actually wearing. And everyone does that. I mean, most of us do that. I used to do that. So once I decluttered, I was able to see, and I mean, Google some of these things. So for a woman in corporate like myself, I just looked for what are some of the staples I need to have in my wardrobe. And then of course, for the casual looks, like a plain leather jacket, or just having like a good shirt, good chiffon blouses, whatever. And I was able to have a list. Like I actually wrote down a list of, after decluttering, these are some of the things I need. Like these are staples in my wardrobe. And then of course I looked for plugs and bought some of those things. So now that I've gotten that out of the way, I'm currently on a no spend. I'm not buying any additional clothes, and what I'm currently learning is how to pair what I already have in my wardrobe for like social settings or even corporate settings when I'm going out on jobs or on trainings. And that has really, really helped me, because if I'm being honest with you guys, at least once a month I would spend roughly around maybe even 2,000, 3,000, maybe not much, just grabbing like something, either a dress or a top, etc. So I'm currently on a no spend, unless like there's a high necessity for me, like I'm going to a very high profile event and I do not have something to wear for sure, like I've looked through my wardrobe and nothing matches, then maybe that's when I'll spend. But the random ones, I've completely done away with that. Now this last one, guys, this one ruffled feathers. I've found myself in a tough situation the past couple of months, because I've also had to draw some very serious boundaries with relatives. Now there's a very fine line between helping out family, black tax, etc., and completely shooting yourself in the foot, right? So what I've had to do is that before I used to like communicate, probably just to like the ones who are very, very close, and tell them I'm not able to do this amount, but I can give you this amount. And I realized, like, at what point does it stop? Because now in a month, so one person, an auntie, a cousin, etc., and I've already spent money on like 4 or 5 people, and that is the month where, as I observe, like I'm not able to save as much as I'm supposed to save in like my emergency funds, sinking funds. I'm not investing anymore, and a lot of it I've had to really had conversations with myself and conversations with people to really draw where the line is between helping and enabling. And I realized that for some areas I was really just being an enabler. This person will not go out of their way to find options of getting money to pay for a certain thing, because I've already normalized that if they don't have money, then they can just call me and I will feel, oh yeah, I'll just be like, I need to support this person, they don't have anyone else. And I'd carried that like savior syndrome for such a long time, and it's usually on and off. Like there are months I'm usually very serious, I stand my ground, and then there are months I just fall back to really feeling sorry for people and just going out of my way, even if it is to my own detriment. So one of the things that I've done is I've completely said no to black tax, other than the necessities that I've committed to help my immediate family with. But outside of that, I'm not doing any black tax. It's been very uncomfortable, because every time someone calls me, the answer has to be no. I have to stand my ground. Obviously, that is not the easiest thing, because as long as you start setting boundaries, some people will try and push back and use guilt traps and, telling you this, that, and the other thing. You can't post anything on social media because people are feeling, oh, you see, she's having fun, or she's doing this, and she keeps telling us she has no money. I've had to really have some tough conversations with myself and with these people to draw boundaries around my hard-earned money, and that has not been easy. But however, that being said, standing my ground and saying no as often as possible is saving me roughly around 5,000 shillings every month, just by saying no to the random phone calls and the random send me 500 shillings or 1,000 shillings. And that has really, really worked well for me. Now, these things that I've been talking about probably sound very small and insignificant, but if you've been doing the math with me, these changes I've made in my spending, the cuts, the reductions, the eliminations I've done, the 1,000 here, 5,000 there, 1,500 there, in total is coming to a minimum of around 22,000 every month. So you see, these changes are not big, catastrophic, life-changing changes. I've just tweaked a few things in my budget, and I've just removed a couple of things that are they're uncomfortable, but I can do without them. And that is a whooping 22,000 shillings, guys. Kenya shillings every month. What could I do with that money? So much, right? So what I'm trying to do, and my mindset around cost cutting, it's not just about I have a scarcity mindset or I'm feeling like there's not enough money, but the truth of the matter, guys, is that the cost of living has gone so up. Whenever I go to the supermarket to shop, or whenever I'm just trying to get normal life things, you realize that it's becoming more and more expensive. And because my earnings in my business, or maybe if you're employed, your earnings in your salary are not going as high as the cost of living, the truth of the matter is that most of us will have to find ourselves in a situation where we need to adjust and have some interesting conversations with ourselves about how we handle things like entertainment, the luxuries, the leisure, food in our house, eating out, and all that. So those are some of the changes that I have been making, and that, I honestly don't feel as uncomfortable. It's not catastrophic or very, it's not like an immediate cold turkey kind of approach. It's just cutting small things in different areas on my budget, and that has really, really helped me, because guys, now I have 22,000. Now, what have I been doing with that 22,000 shillings? Because it is important. You can do all that cost cutting, and then if you do not have like a purpose for the money that you save, then that can create also, it's almost like you've done zero work. So what I've been doing with that 22,000, I've actually been distributing it along my, between my emergency fund and my sinking fund. I'm currently not investing that money that I'm saving because the markets are also acting a little bit crazy. So I've found myself also being a bit conservative in the investments that I'm making, but I'm using that money to top up my emergency fund, because in the time we are living in, it's becoming increasingly important for me to actually have an emergency fund that can last me longer. So for the first 4 years of my financial freedom journey, I was able to build a 6 months emergency fund, which is ideally expenses that can last me in Nairobi at my current house, in my current standard of living, for at least 6 months. Currently, I'm on my 8th month, so I've worked it up to 8 months. And now I'm really going extra hard to ensure that I can have at least 1 year worth of living expenses saved in a money market fund, just in case anything happens to my ability to make an income or my business, because the market is it's very volatile and unpredictable right now. So that's what I'm doing. So around 15,000 is going into my emergency fund every month. At least the past 2 months, that's what has happened, and on top of what I already used to do. And then the rest of the 7,000 is going to take care of like my sinking fund cost, because life has to go on. I still want to be able to do something for like my birthday or my partner's birthday. I want to be able to save up for Christmas. I still want to be able to buy a couple of things throughout the year. I still have to save for things like car insurance, etc. So now I'm really doing extra in terms of my sinking fund, because I'm also aware that when these bills come up this year or later on this year, they'll probably be higher than what I had anticipated, because the cost of living has gone significantly high, right? So that has been my cost cutting strategy. I don't know what is yours, and I'd like you to let me know in the comment section, guys. What are some of the things you're learning from this video, or even what are some of the things that changes you've been making in your personal spending habits, in your budget, so that you can actually stay afloat and still be able to meet your financial goals, even in these tough times where there's inflation and the high cost of living. One thing I'll leave you with, guys, is that at some point, Inflation is going to come down. I mean, this is not going to be our first rodeo. Whatever goes up in the market comes back down. So eventually the economy will stabilize, hopefully. Eventually the prices will stabilize. Eventually some of us will probably get more jobs, better jobs, higher pay. But until that happens, your priority right now in these tough economic times that we live in is to try stay afloat and to save as much as possible. Stack up money, because you don't know the time or the day you will need this money. If you can, definitely do some of these investments, like low risk investments like your money market funds and all that. But the most important thing right now is to try cut and minimize your costs and ensure that that money is actually being directed to protecting you and making you a bit more secure in your future. So you guys, let me know down in the comment section below if you have any questions, and if at all you have any other strategies you would like to share with us. I really want to read about what you guys are doing to cost cut in your homes, in your budget. I look forward to reading that. So I really hope that this video has been impactful and helpful. Remember to like it, share it with your friends so that they can join us in this financial freedom gang, and also turn on your notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you on the next one.